I say Nigerian Army want to recruit people. That's very nice one. And people who won't join, they fit join. But my issue is that why not telling the politician children to join the army?
My fellow Biafrans, listen to me. This particular video is for you guys. In case you have not followed me on Facebook, go and follow me on Facebook and do it to subscribe to this channel, because I go to bring update back to back as they hot. This particular boy that people are seeing on my screen he was once a Nigerian soldier, and now he's not a Nigerian soldier because they have chased him out of a Nigerian soldier. Now, this particular boy that people are seeing on my screen like this has a serious message to all Nigerian youths who are willing to join Nigerian soldiers. He has a serious message for you guys. And my own advice be say, I have a serious message concerning my Igbo brothers and sisters. If you know that you want to go and join Nigerian soldier or Nigeria military, this particular video is for you, because this boy explained everything that you need to know. And I don't want any of my brother or my sister to lose life. So just take moment of your time and watch this video, and do not forget to share so that other Biafrans can be able to watch it. And also follow and drop your opinion under the comment section, because your opinion matters a lot. One love.
Yeah, guys, it's a boy soldier boy shoulder must set on criminal. Excuse me because I don't understand. I don't understand though. I dey see some news online say Nigerian Army want to recruit people. That's very nice one. And people who won't join, they fit join. But my issue is that why not telling the politician children to join the army? Why are you not telling the politician children to bring their children also to come and join the army? Secondly, when I was arrested and when I was in detention, in Meduguri 7D, people that were there in that detention together, they are more than 100 people. They are more than 100 people. In Abuja, when I was detained in Abuja, people that they are there, they are more than 60 people. Likewise, I know, no be only one barrack na dey Abuja, no be only one barrack na dey Meduguri. Likewise, all the barrack they get culprit inside guard room, plenty. Now so that they bring some people say from Ibadan when I was in the guard room. Why are you guys not releasing these people, saying that there's no manpower? But why not they release these people when they're in detention? Nigeria, I want you guys to ask for their immediate release. These people, they are too much. And if you cast them now, say they won't go check those people now, they'll go prepare them. They'll go prepare them, they'll go allow them, make them enter, make them see those people. If not, so I would have said, yes, people will be say they get power for this country, make them go, they check all the guard rooms. Without offense, when we say no reach anything, I don't think say they are offense. You know, even what something when we say they will keep persons. Some people don't spend 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 6 months inside guard room. Some people are inside that guard room for 1 year, 6 months, more than that, 2 years. You guys should release those people. Release them. Instead of you shouting manpower, people should come and join army. Release them. And at the same time, people come join army. Call the politician children also. Let them come and join the army. And let's see, maybe the army no go better. If the politician pikin, if they join the army, the things, all these things when they happen for this country, it go reduce. When it comes to sufferness, it go reduce. Inside the military, a lot of things will change when the politician, when they bring their son to join the army. A lot of things will change in this Nigeria. A lot of things will change. So let them release those people in the detention. I'm not saying people should not join army, but let them release those people in detention and stop shouting that yeah, there's no manpower, there's no manpower. Meduguri more than 100 people, Abuja more than 50 people. Who knows all over Nigeria guard rooms?
Dear soldiers, my name na Ruth Ogunleye, and I know so sabi me before, and I know me well. If federal government no dey pay una the salary una want, the salary no dey enough for you as a soldier, drop uniform. And make I tell you, you must not write voluntary. Say you want command. If you drop uniform, say I no go do again. Just carry your, just by yourself. No, come on for barrack. Make nobody know. That's what they do. If you just when you come back from work, make I tell what you go. When you come back from work, put your uniform for your room. Waka come out. Nobody go find you. You know they special. If army no they provide your helmet, no they provide you uniform, I don't even see any reason why you go there. As if you come up for the job, you get another thing you fit do for outside with your SS3. and it is say walk there outside. I just dey pity some of una when no know una left from una right. See, I used to tell people, one of my philosophy about the army job was your progression in the army determine your course attendance. Go to school, upgrade yourself. That is the only advice. Then if you are not okay with the salary and everything, you are doing buying your uniform, your helmet, your jackets, everything, please drop uniform. You know they special. They're plenty. They're yakpa. Nobody care, but they're not going to even find you. Say now what I want to tell you be that one. Now what I want to tell you. And if you want to complain to your OC, your AO, your RSM. Complain to those people first. Then take them for head. Carry them. Say Augusta, this salary no reach us. I no go do again. Before you come carry and come social media. They clap for now because of social media. No say they don't. Everybody they train now. They sympathize with you now. Like say if you come up for there now, if they dismiss you now, get anybody will go employ you. We go they pay you 1 million naira. We go care about you. So now let anybody whine now. Social media no be replaced. So everybody for the cash cruise. Everybody look for validation. Everybody they look for likes, views. If you let anybody whine, you lose your job. Go because they clap for this person. And you want to say next time, I'm go make video. They go dismiss you now, Sarah. You will start for square one again. No sense, people. I go talk now. They now call my conversation. Call they talk rubbish. I dare the way for all of you now. Olori buruku, bon throw away.
At this point in time, there is a need for us to ask ourselves, who are the benefactors of one Nigeria? Who are the people that are benefiting from one Nigeria? Is Nigeria truly one? The most stupid thing I've come to understand over time is the fact that whenever somebody come up to talk about a need to divide Nigeria, a lot of fools think that it is a bad idea. We see it as a bad thing. We see it as a criminal offense for somebody to say Nigeria is supposed to be divided. Meanwhile, Nigeria is not united. From 1914 up to date, when Nigeria was amalgamated till this point, if you take a look at a critical aspect of our society, you will realize that the Northerners have been migrating to the South in uncountable number, the same way the Southerners have been migrating to the North. And this migration has been very, very active. But yet, if you talk about Northern Nigeria, it is still easy for you to know the people of Northern Nigeria and segregate them. If you talk about Southern Nigeria, it is still easy for you to segregate them. Why? Because there was no intermarital affairs between these people. And what has been preventing the intermarital affairs? Igbo cannot marry Hausa. Hausa cannot marry Igbo. Yoruba cannot marry Hausa. Hausa cannot marry Yoruba. Because of what? Religious and cultural differences. And sometimes we compare ourselves to US, to different countries of the world, to China. If you go to China, there is nothing like somebody from North China cannot marry somebody from South China. Everybody in China, once they meet themselves, they find love within themselves, they get married to themselves. The same thing with America. There's nothing like there is a part of America that not marry the other part of America. But in Nigeria, if we have been intermarrying within ourselves since the amalgamation of Nigeria till this point, it would have been very, very, very difficult for you to talk about one ethnic group successfully, because we would have had over 11 million people whose father are Igbo and their mothers are Hausa, and over 20 million people whose father are Hausa and their mothers are Igbo. The same thing with Yoruba. And that intermarital relationship would have deleted everything that has to do with tribalism and nepotism among us. But it is not possible. So you will see that the amalgamation of Nigeria was done in a very clinical manner that keep us segregated, so that there will be, it's just like mixing a cup of oil with a cup of water, knowing fully well that they will not mix together, so that we can easily be exploited. And whenever you talk about one Nigeria, who are the people that are benefiting from it? A very few elites, who are the stakeholders of the British business that has been invented. So why is it possible for new countries to be formed in Europe? If you go to Europe from the year 2000 to 2026, as we speak, almost 30 countries have been formed. New countries, without agitation, without war, without fight. So why is it easy for new countries to be formed in other places around the globe? Kosovo, Serbia, Slovakia, Montenegro, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, different countries. New countries have been formed peacefully. But if it comes down to our own place here, to form a new country is a big deal. Why? Mind you, if you go to Europe, you will realize that Lagos is bigger than countries like Greece, Portugal, Sweden, Switzerland, Belgium, different countries. of Europe, Lagos alone. And I bet you that all the states in Nigeria, including the smallest states, Ebonyi State and Bayelsa and wherever, Nasarawa State, are far bigger than many countries of the world. So I ask you, why is it a crime? Why is it a sin to talk about a new country in Nigeria, in Africa, without conflict? Why can't we divide without fighting, without conflict? And who is behind these conflicts that we experience whenever we talk about division? Nigeria is a blessed country, and virtually every region, every part of this country have abundance of mineral resources that they can rely upon. So if we are talking about the division of Nigeria, we are not even supposed to be talking about dividing into 2 or 3 or 4. And the most idiotic thing that has happened in Nigeria is to talk about the 3 major ethnic groups. There is no need for us to talk about any ethnic group as being the major ethnic group, because if you have a 3 major ethnic group where Hausa is the biggest, Yoruba and Igbo, then how will you now talk about the other ethnic groups? So Igbo is comfortable that they are number 3, Yoruba is comfortable that they are number 2, Hausa is comfortable that they are number 1. How about the people that are number 20, number 30, number 40? We are not supposed to have the same country by nature. Because if you talk about agriculture, for instance, why the southern part of Nigeria is planning their farming system in such a manner that excessive rainfall should be controlled in their farm, the northern part of Nigeria is planning their agricultural system in such a manner that excessive drought should be controlled through irrigation. So if you are making your ridges in the north to conserve water around your plant roots in the north, somebody in the south is making their ridges in such a manner that will overflow excess water from the plant root. But yet we are studying the same curriculum, we are studying the same agriculture, we are using the same textbooks, but the environmental dispensation of these 2 regions are completely different, and the cultural practices that could work in the northern part of Nigeria cannot work in the southern part of Nigeria. If you go to the north, a typical northern child will have to learn Arabic language through the Quran, learn Hausa language, and learn English language. Just one child. Just one child learning 3 languages. Tell me why they won't become an alemajiri or idiots. Tell me how they can be able to function effectively when a child is being bugged with 3 different complex languages with complex lexicons being comprehended by one single child. Nobody thinks about the impact of such confusion. You are putting a little child, they must study Arabic to learn the Quran. They read from the left to the right to know the Quran. Then they read from the right to the left to know chemistry and mathematics. Tell me how it can work. And if you look at the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the lawmakers, take a look at the complexity of grammar they are speaking there. Take a look at the English they are speaking on the floor of our Senate. For a country where over 70% of the citizens are illiterate. So if you are making laws for your citizens and you are making such laws in language they don't understand, how can somebody obey a law they don't understand, the law they cannot interpret? And you are talking about one Nigeria. Nigeria is due for segregation. It's due for division. Anybody that tells you anything otherwise is just fooling you. And there is abundance of mineral resources in every region of this country to sustain itself. I won't lie to you. There is no revolution that can change the status of this country. There is no protest. There is no, whether peaceful or violent, that can turn Nigeria into a good country. The only way Nigeria can get better is to divide peacefully. Let us have a national confab, sit on a round table, know how many countries Nigeria can be divided to peacefully, considering the ethnic and socio-cultural diversities of these people, and know how we can segregate them into peaceful nation. Even if it takes one local government to become a country of their own, let us have it. And if we can have international relationship like the European Union or any union you want to call it at the central level, where one passport of one of the segregated country can be functional in all other part of the countries, let us have it. But as I speak with you, there is nothing that can solve the problem of this country except division. Peaceful division from a round table, and let each region go back to their home, secure their people, secure their mineral resources, mine it, exploit it in the best interest of their people. Because the people that amalgamated Nigeria does not consider the difficulties and diversity of this country and how it will affect our existence. I bet you nobody can, even if you merge Atiku, Obi, Tinubu, Amechi and all of them together, they cannot solve the problem of this country. Merge them into one president, they cannot solve the problem of this country. Because one region is our turn, the other region is our turn. Nobody check the credibility. Nobody check, oh, they are appointing only Yoruba, they are appointing only Hausa. But there won't be such if it is only Yoruba that are having their own state. So I bet you it is important for us to sit on a round table and question ourselves again. Who are the benefactors of one Nigeria? Is it the British that amalgamated us without considering the ethnic diversity, the religious and socio-cultural diversity? Or is it the present leaders, the elites or the citizens of this country? What is the benefit of one Nigeria to a common citizen of Nigeria? That is a low average life citizen of Nigeria. What is the benefit? What does a person benefit from holding a Nigerian passport? What does a person benefit from being a Nigerian citizen? The comment section is open. Tell me just one thing that somebody benefit from this country, Nigeria. And if there is nothing, then they should cease to exist.